Hello and welcome to the Loneliest Asteroid. I say that because I only have one duplicant. Why in the world do I only have one duplicant in this game? A number of reasons, one of which I'm just curious what strategy I need to employ with one duplicant that's going to have to do absolutely everything. I'm also on a really cold asteroid. Throw out a frost-proof dupe, so we're going to want to get ourselves a nice warm coat on. Throw some wood in the wood heater. And we'll get planning with a living area for this duplicant. So now that I'm all warmed up with my warm coat, the next goal is to get over to this research portal. That's going to give us the ability to make a nice liquefier and wood heater. So another thing I'm going to get from this particular playthrough is focusing on one dupe. Probably going to learn quite a bit, because with 8 dozen or maybe even 40 like my last playthrough duplicants, you get lost a little bit in what everyone's doing. So I'm hoping to learn quite a bit. And as I discover stuff, I'm going to share that in this playthrough. So there we are. The ability to make a wood heater of our own. Let's now set up a spot to be able to live. With this research unlocked, we're digging out this spot over here to create a barracks. And I'm not going level with the printing pod just yet because I want to be able to reach and get a ceiling before we dig that completely out. And in case you're curious if there is an asteroid that is considered the loneliest asteroid, there actually is. It's called 2019 EJ3. Known for that apparently because it has a trajectory that is far removed from many other asteroids. Apparently 340 feet in diameter. So there we go, a little bit of information, not related to oxygen, not included. So let's get over here and dig this out. So now that we've reached this area, we're getting an outhouse and a barracks together. The door here doesn't have to stay shut. I'm going to make sure these tiles stay in place until we've got our ceiling at least. Eventually this is going to be latrine, though I don't really care if it's latrine just yet. I just want to make sure there's an outhouse so that when I wake up in the morning, I've got a place to go instead of creating some yellow snow. Alright, so with that, let's knock these out and get a cot in there. Door down here doesn't have to stay shut. And let's have a quick look at the schedule. I moved everything over 1 hour, so the bath time happens at the end of the night. Because we've got an early bird here, I want to take advantage of their +2 to all skills in the morning. I'm giving them 3 hours in the evening for a break. Actually, I might cut that down for this first cycle. That is because I'm on hard mode and my dupe's eating 2,000 calories every single cycle. And all those calories consumed takes lots of time to eat, so hence a little bit of extra break time. May have to give an extra hour. Hold on, we've got some dirt in the outhouse. We'll see if we're able to create this cot. We just need a little bit of wood. I do not think we're going to make that, so I'm just going to give 1 hour break on this cycle. Alright, there is our barracks. Let's just double check if that's the case. It is. And dupe's going to get warmed up. And then we'll get start. Actually, before we go in cycle 2, how about I tell you a little bit about this dupe and this asteroid that they're on. Okay, let's take a look at this asteroid. This is the Frosty Planet pack with spaced out. We've got a very cold asteroid, obviously, but in addition to that, it's also got a frozen core. It's geoactive, so there should be lots of resources, a little bit of mixed boulders. We have to dig through slime mold, but that's not going to be really an issue with coldness. It's going to kill slime lung. Game settings is on the max. So ravenous dupes, usually that's the biggest concern, but this just means that I have to feed 2 duplicants instead of 1. I'm actually more concerned about the Draconian. Morale will be a huge issue because I'm going to want to give lots of different skill points to this one dupe since they're the only dupe that's going to be around. Figured with one duplicant, why have someone do some dreaming and improve everyone else? Or be able to get a hermit. We already have a hermit anyways. Alright, let's go look at this duplicant I have selected for this mission. This is my one and only duplicant. I had to very carefully think about what interests they have, so I went with interests that had many skill blocks associated with them. Researching has 5, building has 3, digging has 4, and there's going to be lots of need for building and digging. So that's what I did there. With traits, I allowed myself 2 positive and 1 negative. And we already seen they're an early bird, so they're going to get a +2 to all attributes for the first 5 schedules. That's going to be important because this dupe's going to do just about everything, well, absolutely everything in this particular playthrough. They're also a loner, which is going to be super useful, even more so than the early bird. That's because they're going to get a +4 to all attributes when they're alone on the world. And they're always going to be alone on the world, so that is super awesome. And I thought for a negative trait, well, how about someone that's not good at healing someone else because there is no one else around? When they get stressed, they're destructive, and they're a very productive dupe if I'm actually able to get the overjoyed response. Well, I'm up early in the morning. One thing I don't normally allow duplicants to be able to do is do a little bit of disinfect, but that actually trains their strength. So I would not mind some strength training. There's also going to be points where I leave this dupe alone for a while, and I'm going to explain when I hit those points. And I would like to have some skill leveling to happen, as well as research and a bunch of other things. But right now in Cycle 2, my concern is about food poisoning. I want to make sure that we get some water inside a wash basin so that we can wash our hands after using the outhouse. So we're going to have to dig out a spot here to put an ice liquefier. So now that we've got this carved out, I chose this location right here for an ice liquefier. Reason for that is I plan to put a manual generator here, and I think the manual generator will be used a little bit more than the ice liquefier. So I just want that to be a little bit closer to the main ladder system that we've got going on here. Oh, and I realized I have not yet put a wood heater right here, so let's also locate that and try to get that done before the end of this cycle. But we're going to have to get some wood, load it in ice, load it into the ice liquefier to get that going. Time for some food. So last time, Stoop didn't actually grab anything. I'm going to make sure I bring that schedule back to allow them to have enough time to eat, as well as maintain their morale a little bit. Speaking of that, latrine is in place, so that is good. We don't have enough wood here, so yeah, perfect. There we are. Process of making some water, because I do not want to have, if we can avoid it at all possible, do not want to have this duplicant become sick with food poisoning. Alright, so we've got water in there. We just have a water heater about to go in. With that, we can disable that one over there. And I've got to make some more plans, so I'll do that now. I think that is going to be cycle 2. At the start of the next cycle, I'm going to get a ladder system to go up and down so we can explore a little bit, because we're going to be living off the land, taking advantage of all the pike apple and plume squash if we can get down there to be able to feed this duplicant. Nearly reached the bottom down here, so I'm going to start the process of adding some ladders along this little section. After getting a ladder system down here, now concentrating on going upward. Oh, we've got something from the printing pod. This will not be a duplicant. Oh, a snazzier red suit. Very tempting, though it's probably smart to keep the warm coat on that we've got. After reaching the top over here, same thing. Let's install some laddering with some wood. Okay, so that's cycle 3. There was some exposure to food poisoning. It says we've got rate of contact food poisoning 50%. Well, let's hope we do not get that. Otherwise, we're going to be slowed down over the next little bit. But speaking of using outhouses from being sick, potentially, I actually might add a second one. Just because if this ever becomes clogged, well, we'll have nowhere to go. Now that we've got a ladder opened up in this local area, I've got a plan to go in and access some pike apple for food. We've got a little bit of pike apple over here. We've got some pike apple in this direction, so we'll dig out a path like this. And we've got some pike apple that's over here, so we'll dig that out as well. Now that I've dug a spot over here for a little bit of pike apple, one thing I want to do is trap this phlox so we can't eat any of the pike apple on us. There we go. We've dug into a little bubble here with 2 pike apple. We're going to continue on so that we can access some up here. Leave this little thing open if we want to get to that. Hey, stay away. I'm going to deal with this little critter that's in there. Actually, not quite sure how I'm going to do that. It might take a little bit. Oh, let's do a little dig right there. How about you come back? We'll see if we could at all get lucky at maybe making a door right there. Snow tile. We've got all this air. Oh, this is going to be... this is going to be a little bit of an issue. Oh, hold on. Whoa. Could this work out magically? Ha ha ha! Look at that! Alright, Flax, you stay away from my pike apple bush. Well, with that little bit of success blocking off that Flax, let's choose the first skill that I'm going to assign. I'm going to have to carefully think about this. Deciding between research and hard digging, and because we're living off the land, and I want to get some pike apple. Actually, I'm not going to assign a hat. We know what we have in terms of a dupe. It's just 1. But now we've got the ability to dig through granite. I'll have to start to think about morale. But now I'm at least not limited by all this granite that is surrounding me. Some plume squash. Let's go out and explore this direction. We'll see where the first granite cut is going to be made. Alright, now that we got a tile down there, just want to take a moment to see what there is. Oh, I see. This is going to be our little biobot builder. Not probably going to do anything with that anytime soon. But there is a phlox that is next to that pike apple. I'm going to open a spot. Now, the only thing is... If I do this smart, maybe I'll do this instead so that phlox can't come down, because I don't want that phlox to be able to access over here as well. Let's go back and dig that out. Whoops, whoops, whoops. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Put that back on. Put that back on. Alright, and then on our way over here. Or, we could actually just do this. Make that a priority. That way that phlox is stuck on that side. Ha ha ha. Just get this dupe to dig those 2. Whoa, 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 where are you going? Recovering from the cold, probably because you took your coat off there, ding dong. But I just temporarily, while that phlox is there, get you to take that out. Take that out. You can do that later. Let's allow you to recover from the cold. Haha, phlox. Don't touch my pike apple. Oh. What are we going to get this time? Shine nymph eggs. Okay, why not? Though that might keep us up at night, so how about we block them from being able to get in towards the barracks. On cycle 7, we've got access to all kinds of pike apple growing. A few pieces down here that we need to get access to, but I found a very interesting room, and I'm wondering if there's a narrow vacillator. If there is, that could prove to be very useful. I'm going to switch to granite instead of wood laddering, and we'll get a spot available so we can actually get up there. I can't actually dig through that, can I? Nope. Okay, we'll go around that little guy. Ouch, we're getting some minor radiation sickness. That's coming from this guy here. I was going to actually preserve that, but I don't see a point. That'll be cycle 7, but one of the first things I want to do is get this out of the way, because this is going to be a common area. I'm going to be going up and down quite often, and I don't want that to be a radioactive zone for us to travel in. Almost at this little room over here. We're going to hit the submit bioscan, so as soon as we're able to, we'll get in there. I assume some wood's being thrown in the wood heater. We'll lock that door. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I was going to open this door, but I realized that is to keep the shine bugs out once they hatch. Alright, let's take that out. Let's take that out. I'm going to be doing this very carefully. assuming there is, okay, there is a neurovacillator, because I do not, or I want to have a particular skill, beefsteak. So I'm going to save right now just in case I want to do a reload, because there's probably a good chance I'm going to get something other than what I would like. Let's find out if I can do this on the first shot, though. Sunny disposition, I mean, nice, but I would like my extra strength instead. Alright, here we go. We've got beefsteak plus 10 to strength. So I think that will serve us a little bit better. Now let's make a plan for where I'm going to go next. I think maybe accessing the pike apple bushes down here. So after digging out a spot so we can access the pike apple over here, we're going to be going up here and digging a path to visit this guy. In particular, it's the plume squash I want. I also want to make sure that this guy's not able to access the plume squash if I click on them. And hit show navigation. Looks like they're not. So, oh, right. If this was dug out, it would. So actually, technically, I don't need that. So there's that. There's a quartz. Might as well dig that out because that's going to be a light source that we can use later on. And going down here, I'd like to extend my ladder down. I want to make a ladder out of granite. Don't have local granite, so before I do that, we're just going to dig out a little bit of granite in this area so we can continue down in that direction. Number of geysers, going to ignore those for the time being. Oh, some plume squash over here, though. That's going to be tackled by this critter. Maybe I'll make a plan to get over there. Okay, so we've got a spot available here. What I'm thinking of doing is just opening this up so this critter goes in this direction. And then we'll pile on either a door or an extra snow tile so that they can get out of the way. Let's see if I do... Oh, there's two. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, even more reason to do this. Make this a priority right now. Where is the dupe gone? Let's make sure they're going to dig that granite at the bottom of the base. I would rather them focus on getting this guy out of the way. Alright, so that's going to allow me to go back in and out, but we still need that snow tile built. Ah, well, we missed our opportunity to save that harvest, but oh well, let's, we're going to have to actually watch this, because if I build this now, and that critter is chomping away. Now let's go back and see if we can create that. If I can drag you back. Build, quick. Grab, quick, through. Okay, ha! Alright, well, we lost our harvest there. He ate 50% of our plume squash, but for the next harvest after that, I'll be able to consume that instead. Okay. Alright, so back down to digging out some granite. We just got an attribute increase. Let's see, we've got a better digging skill now. Also, just hear that we've got another item here. Oh, a shine nymph. Did we get those doors in place? Okay, we did. Otherwise, that might keep us up at night. Now, with this granite, we're just digging down first, and then we'll place some granite laddering in. This is going to give us access to 3 new plume squash, one of which we're going to have to separate from this guy over here. And we'll do the same little trick. We'll see if we can get, in this case, I would need 2. Either that or even a single dig might be enough if it's done at the right time. Oh, I guess we're going to do that next cycle. Okay, alright, did not catch the timing early enough on that, but let's restore tile right there. I'll have to go up, grab a little bit of snow, not too far. Put this in place. It's going to be difficult because that critter here doesn't have a lot of spot to stay. Let's just grab this too. Get them to come up here. Take that out. Boom. I believe that critter cannot jump over that, so yeah. Excellent. They're stuck right there, so they can't touch the plume squash. So that's 3 plume squash. I'm even going to harvest these ones. We've got another one down here that doesn't have a mammoth. So that's another food source that we now have available. or we'll have available very soon. Just gotta figure out what is the best way of getting in. Put in some laddering. We'll harvest this. So, let's also harvest over here. So we're getting 4,000 calories every time we do a harvest of one of these. That is enough food for 2 cycles. This guy, okay, all right, another mission to save another plume squash plant. Down here. Okay, Mammoth, please stand aside. How am I going to do this one? I can't dig down there. If you could come back. Actually, let's just put a snow tile right there. Make that priority. Go find some snow for us to dig that out. Okay, if you could just stay over there, Mammoth. Where do we have to go to grab snow? Or are you grabbing snow? Okay, yeah, excellent. Back over. See if I can time this well enough. Build. Oh. Ouch. Okay, not quite. Well, try again. Alright. I'm going to have to call that dupe to tell that dupe to stay in the area. Okay, go. Okay, another plume squash available for food. We'll do a harvest on there. I'm going to do a harvest on the plume squash, but not the pike apple. And the reason for that, you just don't get that much calories from the pike apple. And it's, to me, I'm just concerned about the labor of having to harvest each of the pike apple. That is all around. Speaking of that, we are at 13 or 30, almost 30,000 calories. So we've got 15 cycles we'll be able to get through with food. But with all these wild plants, if I had normal growing pike apple bush, I could get away with 4. Or sorry, yeah. Let's see. Actually, no. Let me double check some of these numbers. We'll do a test over here. No, yeah, it's 5 of them. If I had 5 of these growing in farm tiles, meaning wild version would be 20. But that's assuming I'm harvesting. And I've got, I think I've counted 21, 22 pike apples. Now that would be enough if I did harvesting on them, but I don't want to do harvesting, so that's why I'm going after some plume squash as well. I just looked at the numbers of plume squash. If I was growing plume squash in a farm, I would need 4.5, assuming I'm harvesting. With wild version, that's about 18 of these guys, and I don't have nearly as much plume squash as I do pike apple, but there is, how many? 1, maybe put in this perspective. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to say, at this point, between all the pike apple and plume squash, we should have enough food to be able to support ourselves. So I'm going to now direct attention to other things other than food. Start maybe with getting a granite ladder. Going up and down this area. I'm avoiding going through some of this slime just so that we don't get some polluted oxygen in the air. With this ladder in place, it's going to be making access to the plume squash that's down here a little bit easier. More wild plants down here, but I can't get through abyssalite. So what I'm going to do is direct our attention to do a little bit of research. This is definitely the furthest I've ever played this game without doing research. But I've never played with only 1 duplicant before. So for this, we're putting 2 batteries together. We're getting a manual generator. We're going to take some of these items out so we can make our own laboratory and get started with research in this game. And guess who's going to be doing research? Yes, this 1 duplicant, of course. Harvesting all that plume squash has really paid off. So we've got 12,000 calories of just plume squash alone, enough for 6 cycles in this game. We're going to have a manual generator. I suspect this dupe's going to jump on that. Oh, a little battery or wire needs to be connected before that actually happens. We've got 2 research stations being put in here. This one's not actually being connected to the grid. It's just there to make it look like it's a laboratory. First little bit of power is being charged up. We've got 2 batteries to store that. Once that is powered up and our laboratory is set, we'll research the first few projects. Let's double check if we have a laboratory. Excellent. The research station consumes dirt. I just want to make sure there's a lot available before we're going to get started. So I'm going to make this a priority to gather a little bit of dirt. And then we can start, actually, for the first time. And this is something I've been planning with this. We're going to leave the dupe alone for a while. Let them work to their own devices. Hopefully they don't get into any trouble. So I'm going to have them do a bunch of research projects. And do some skill leveling if they complete that. And I'll be back to see how they do. Just decided before I start a research project, let's build a little gym area with just a single manual generator. Maybe we'll open this up. Don't have any oxylite underneath. Oh, hold on. What did we get today? Oh, wow, rust. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is what I was expecting to happen, is that dupe is going to run on this, and they're going to run on it forever because there's no batteries to this system. So I'm going to lower the priority to a 1. So they're only going to run on this when they've got nothing else to do, but they're going to have something to do for a good while. They are going to research a whole bunch of stuff for us. And if I just go click here, how can I try to maximize the most amount of research, basic research stuff, because we don't have the ability, we don't have the supercomputer to do that. But if I do that, all these base stuff will be researched while I'm away. Won't have meal prep, but we can worry about that later on. Okay, so I believe, actually just before I do that, let's, just to be safe, we'll dig out a little bit more oxylite, both there and there, because I don't want to run out of oxygen. So we don't have any oxygen production. Well, how about we also dig that out for a little bit of oxylite as well. Same idea over here. And I think with all the wild plants, we should be good for food. With all the oxylite and the fact that we only have 1 duplicant, we should be good. Just to be absolutely safe, though, what I might do is just block that off so we keep our latrine. Oh, and one other thing. I'm a tiny bit concerned about morale, or not so much morale, but the stress. Why don't I be a bit sneaky? I'm going to hit follow cam. So the dupe gets the center of attention, -5 to stress. But I'm not actually going to watch them, but they're not going to know that. So I'll be back. I've got some stuff to do around the house, and hopefully things don't go terrible. Though, actually, if I do, I might lose my save, so maybe it would be very smart if I did a save, just in case I come back to an impending disaster. Alright, center of attention set. I will be back in many cycles. We'll see what evolves in terms of skill leveling, research, and good luck, dupe. Okay, it has not been that long, but I just realized that the dupe is not going to concentrate on this critical digging out of oxylite unless I actually make that a higher priority. Let's just interrupt them to make sure they're going to do that first. Oh, and don't forget, set that. Okay, there we go. All right, now we'll see what we can do from this point on with just the dupe and me going away. Alright, it has been 5 cycles since I've been away. See, we've, first of all, have something we can print. Ooh, omelets. Alright, that's going to up our calorie, but, we have a manual generator that was down. Was not expecting that. Was that oxylite? I can't remember. Anyways, that needs to be fixed. There's also some other things. We've got a skill point that I can give out. Now, if I did this... Actually, this duplicant is interested in advanced research. That's really nice, so I think we can get away with that. We're going to change a few things around here. First of all, let's take that out. We'll get in a supercomputer. Put that next to that. we'll have to connect this guy up to something else. Maybe just put in a little item over here. What did we get for research? Actually, before we go on too far. Yeah, we did not get too far. It looks like we lost power early on, fortunately. But what about skill? The dupe wasn't going around doing nothing. Well, it kind of looked like they were, but they were at least training skill points. Would have preferred them having to do research, but let's look at science. They've got a +1 to their skill on that, but that's what they started with, so haven't gotten anything there. Athletics. So they built at least one, or actually no, 2 skill points on athletics. And then that could be partially because of the manual generator. Alright, well, I'm glad I was here to catch up what was going on. We're going to, first of all, put some dirt over here. Second of all, I'm going to connect this up. And we'll focus on the supercomputer research. And then I'll make a plan to leave this dupe alone. Food-wise, though, not a concern. Oxygen-wise, still lots of oxylite. So I think I can go do a few things around while leaving this dupe with, well, to themselves. I'm just seeing, I need some sort of item to put in for power. Could be crafting station or something, but I don't want oxylite. Oh, hold on, better be careful. There's something in there first. It's a minor thing, but wishing I just had have left that extra research station around, because technically realizing now that we don't have a laboratory, but not a big problem. Let's go nominate this for a location for dirt. And I'll go put in a research station when that's available. Our laboratory has been restored once again. Now this time with a supercomputer. And I'm going to research the ability to make a great haul before I leave again for a while to the dupe to fend for themselves. We are still doing some research, but what I decided to do is carve out a spot for that Great Hall. That's going to go right there. Also carve out a spot for storing some food. Want that to go in a carbon dioxide cold area. And once I've got a Great Hall, I just want that in place now, just in case stress is going to be an issue. It doesn't appear to be at the moment, because this dupe has 2 skill points. It is 2 skills that they're interested in, at least. But I'm just a little bit more confident if we had a Great Hall and a place to store some food, so stuff doesn't go bad while we're away. Alright, so that is that. I'll put in the design here for food storage and Great Hall. And I might leave this dupe alone for probably even longer than 5 cycles next time. Just finished researching decorations, so we're going to put some decorations here in the Great Hall. Also decided why not put it next to the cot. I think the one thing I'm nervous the most about while I'm away is stuff melting in this little area, but oxygen is warming up briefly. -19. Nah, I think we're going to be fine. Okay, I'm just going to put in a floating water cooler. We only need 1 mess table in our barracks, because, well, there's only 1 duplicant. Maybe just open things up a little bit as well, just to make it easy for carbon dioxide to go down. Though, not a huge problem, again, with only 1 duplicant on the base. Alright, I don't have a Great Hall yet, but we're going to dig out this spot, and that'll eventually become a Great Hall once we get some flower pots planted. We're going to put all the food in here. Not in a carbon dioxide area at the moment, but it will be at some point. It's also going to make it easy for the dupe to go locate their food when they go to grab that. I'll start the research project again, so we'll see. What did I do last time? Select that, and we'll just get done as much stuff as we possibly can while I'm away. And one final thing, I do have a little bit of path out here. We're just opening up a little bit of oxylite Plus, I want to get a ladder up here. I might get access to another wild spigot seal. Would be nice if we could, though not essential. All right. Oh, whoa. Okay, that was quick. Technically, I think we should still have a Great Hall. But, no, mess hall. We need to have this larger. Hold on. Let's just plow that out a little bit. Maybe we would have gotten there at a time with the oxalate, maybe not, but yeah, let's do that. I don't think I need to stay around for that, hopefully. I mean, I'll show you either way what happens from this point on. Alright, well, let's go on to the max. I think we're fine anyways, but just to be safe, I'm going to hit follow cam. And I'm probably going to be much longer than 5 cycles this time. Oh, yeah, hold on. In case something goes terribly wrong. Do a little save so I can roll back to this point if I absolutely had to. Alright, good luck, dude. Well, we are on cycle 36. It looks like we've completed 16 items of research. Let's look at that. These are not priority based. Again, I just clicked on one of the major ones and we just went away, or the dupe went away and just researched a bunch of things. Okay, the other thing, I guess that's primarily all that they've been doing. No manual generator has been done, I assume. Let's look at what skills have been happening since I've been away. If we look at athletics, it's probably the, in science, it's probably the 2 main ones. But we're skill level of 3 where we were only 1 before, so we've gone up 2. With athletics, now we've got a skill of 4. We start with 0. Machinery is at 8. I'm assuming maybe we were spending some time on the manual generator then. Digging skills has gone up by 2. We had started with 1. The other thing, I'm not going to assign these yet, but I've got 2 skill points available. I could give myself more carrying capacity. We could improve construction, but critter ranching is another good option, though. If we're going to do that, we'll have to up morale, I'm thinking, a little bit. But there's no point doing that until I've got the ability to actually make a stable. So instead of just researching random stuff, I'm going to go over and I think we'll get a stable, and we'll look at the process of creating some meat. Though calories, where are we with that? Pike apple 20,000, plume squash 16,000. So yeah, I mean food's not really an issue. Oh yeah, did we ever? Oh, we never did. Okay, so maybe we'll. Oh, nor did we get into this little spot. I suppose research has taken the focus. So I'm going to go away for a bit. When I come back, maybe I'll even do animal control. You know what? So we'll get all those things, including agriculture. And see where we get. How are we with carbon dioxide? So a little bit is building up down there. But, yeah. Oh, of course, we can print whatever is available. Oh, we already have a bunch of those seeds. Whatever. There that is. Oh, and the other thing. Meant to do this before, but maybe make that a priority. We're going to get this built so we can turn the little bit of polluted dirt into regular dirt. But this is also going to be a little bit of strength training. Don't think a lot of strength training is probably happening, though we've got the beefsteak. Just curious on strength. Yeah, natural skill is 0, so that might start to improve, though it may take a good while for that to show up. Okay, well, I'm going to go let the dupe do the last little bit of research. They're going to finally get up here, I'm hoping, I'm expecting. And I should see them on the manual generator where they're going to train athletics. And we'll get a tiny bit of strength training from a little bit of polluted dirt. All right, well, good luck again, once again. Let's just, before I leave this dupe alone, do that. And just to be absolutely certain, we'll do a follow cam. Well, I'm on cycle 48. We reached the shop over here and didn't end up finding any more spigot seals, but there is a plume squash. in that little region, but we've got a small little issue with two of the flocks. For some reason, this guy landed there, and I see an eggshell, so I assume what happened. It just happened by chance that this flock's got up here, laid an egg, and their spawn got trapped there. But I can't quite understand why I've got a phlox over here, because there was no, first of all, there's no eggshell as evidence, and I don't see how phlox could have done that anyways. Alright, well, what am I going to do? I guess we got to get this guy out somehow, but I don't want these two flocks to be let go over here, so I'm going to start by putting two tiles like that, so that can't happen. Then over in this region, let's see, I'm going to get this phlox to jump down, but I don't want them to be able to eat any of this, so I'm going to open this up like that. And then lower them once that little bridge has been created. Okay, so with that, let's open this. And try to let that out. Let's see, where did we get with some of our research? So yeah, so definitely completed animal control. With over 50,000 calories, I might actually not even utilize any of that other than the nature reserve for the morale situation. All right, well, I'll get these flocks out and we'll continue on once again. Actually, just let me show some of the skills that we've gotten up to. On particular science, we are at +4 now with athletics, +5. We've got machinery, which is growing. That's up to +5. Any strength? Okay, no, not strength yet, but this dude doesn't spend a lot of time in the outhouse or compost to be able to get that just yet. Alright, back. This is cycle 60. Every now and then, I've been just clicking on a few random research things that I know that I'll want in the next little bit. I think I'm going to get busy with some construction because I've been ignoring everything pretty much until now. We're starting with a jumbo battery. Going to get rid of these guys, put in a rock crusher, and I see some polluted dirt sitting there, so I think we need another compost available to us. Just researching a metal refinery, but decided I'm going to get a fire pole in and a rock crusher. If this had been a normal playthrough, I would have had a fire pole in much sooner. Well, many things would be quite different if this was a normal playthrough, but kind of enjoying the fact that I can actually leave the game alone. So this will be quite different. Anyways, I'll let this research complete, get a fire pole, a rock crusher, and we'll go from there. Just a random observation as I'm watching this duplicant work. They seem to prefer always constructing fire pole than a rock crusher. Didn't realize there might have been a priority of the type of buildings as everyone works away. Alright, well with that we're going to get a rock crusher, and I think the next thing I'm going to aim to do is to try to clean the polluted air that we've got around here. Looks like our storage bin of food must be filled up, so I'm going to go expand this by one. But, oh, whoa, hold on. A little bit of oxygen is going to go in the area if we do that, but you know what? I think it's only going to be a temporary thing. Just to be safe. How about go in like this instead? I guess we're going to need a ladder going down. Alright, what I was going to show was the fact that we've rearranging our compost area to have some deodorizers around so all this polluted water can't get it out. Also, this polluted water that is arriving from here is also part of the problem. We'll move that over. We're going to put a deodorizer here and here just to make things smell a little bit nicer around the base. First critter from the Frosty printing pod is going to be a spigot pup. Just place them right there. So we've relocated the compost over. We've got a number of deodorizers, but realized there is no sand available. So what I'm doing is going up here, and it's kind of hard to tell what is sand. This is a little bit of snow, but up here we have some sand. So we'll go up and dig that out so that we can actually get these things to operate. Notice the dupe go up and down. Every time they get a little sand, they rush to provide it into deodorizer. So prioritizing on digging everything out. I'm then going to get them to put filtration medium, medium into here at high priority. And then we'll start to load anything, just to avoid the trips back and forth. Because that was a little too inefficient for myself. So now we've got some clean air. Oxygen has not been a problem. I still have oxylite leaking out. But one thing that is starting to concern me just a little bit is the amount of carbon dioxide that's been building up. So I'm going to build a pump, provide some water, get a gas pipe up that's going to feed this gas reservoir. And I think I'm going to give away a skill here. I was originally, long ago, thinking about giving this to Critter Ranching. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Food is not really that much a concern. So I'm going to give them construction, something that they actually like. I think I'm also going to give them this ability to dig through abyssalite. But I'm going to hold off until this construction is done because they're not going to need it for this little section. Pumping process of getting some of this carbon dioxide into this gas reservoir has started. So now I'm concerned about temperature getting a little too warm up here. Well, it's not so much that it's actually getting too warm. I'm just more concerned about ice melting. It would also be nice to throw in some tiling so we can walk around this little area a little faster. So we're going to put in some granite tiles. Going to do this side after side, just so that we don't get the dupe trapped. Also digging it out first so that all the material falls, so this becomes a nice clean floor without any ice or snow that might melt. With a pump running the base, one concern I have is just running on this wheel all the time. What I'm going to do is just open up this channel a little bit, just so that the carbon dioxide can flow down. Probably going to have to cut power for the meantime. We are at the end of cycle 72. We've got this nice granite tiling around the living area. What I'm going to do next is try to avoid polluted water sitting here, creating some polluted oxygen. So we're going to be dumping some polluted water at high priority right here, put it through a water sieve. And for now, we're just going to dump that right here where it's going to freeze, turn to a little bit of ice. Not going to worry about food poisoning if it's going to freeze. So that'll be that setup. Getting a little bit of algae. This could be an easy oxygen system. Not that I need it at the moment, but plus, I'll also forget to mention, I've got this storage container here for storing some of this slime. That slime doesn't have any slime lung, so that's also another oxygen reduction system that we could have around as well. We'll now have an area for processing polluted water. Gonna send that in here whenever it is showing up in the world, including around the wash basin. And I decided instead of moving all the slime up in this bin, at least for the time being, how about we just clean up the area that it's in when I dig this out. So we'll try that. After watching this setup run, I'm realizing this might not be the best idea, and that is because the polluted water is freezing. And when I put it through the water sieve, I mean the water sieve is fine, but when it gets over here into this pipe, that pipe breaks. So we're going to disable that. We're just going to keep this liquid polluted water accumulating right there. That's going to be the case. Better put a deodorizer just to convert any of the polluted oxygen into cleaner oxygen. Cycle 76, we're getting a nice surprise. We've got some squash fries, 16,000 calories and 200. It's going to be enough for 8 cycles. Now that I've got some deodorizers next to this slime, not worried about where I'm putting the ladder. Originally, I wanted to have the ladder go down here. but I was working away to avoid some polluted oxygen. But no more. We're going to relocate this ladder to be right here. We're going to put in a fire pole right next to it, and we're going to get a fire pole right up here as well. It seems I managed to get a dupe that is super productive. Picking up a little bit of sand now. We've got blueprint to be had. Bring on some salt water. I would like to start digging down. I probably can assign a skill for this, but I'm thinking of getting a nature reserve just to maintain morale before I do that. Here's my plan for nature reserve. It's going to cover the whole central area of the base. At the top, it's going to deviate over here, where I've got 3 wild plants there, at least 2 there. Not sure if this is going to be too big or not, but I've got a little room for making it a little bit smaller if it's above the 120 minimum or maximum that it can be. I haven't yet created a nature reserve, but I'm going to open all these doors, except for this one here, just in case we've got shine bugs in the future. Don't want those keeping us up at night. Might as well convert this over to some mesh tiling. I had suspected this nature reserve was going to be a little bit too big, so we're just tightening things up a little bit over here. Adding in some doors just reduce the size. We'll have them open though, so they don't have to be open and closed anytime this duplicant goes by. We now have a nature reserve on base, so I'm not concerned at this point about giving super hard digging skill. Let's give that out. I could probably afford some other ones, but I just want to be choosy about what that is before I go off and assign them. But we now have the ability to dig through abyssalite. Well, it has come to that point where I'm going to leave my game alone for a while. I gave some commands to get some ladders and fire poles to go down here. Do a little bit of exploration over here, a little bit in this direction, and get a path down like that. I'll do a little bit of random research options, and then I'll come back, and hopefully everything is going to be fine. We shall see in a little bit. Well, I'm back. I can see I missed the turn of the century celebration. I hope you had a good time here. But starting to have a plan to go up here, and I'm worried about mercury falling down, turning to liquid, so I'm just building a little mercury capture here so that doesn't go towards the actual base and can stay right there. With this mercury capture area, I now feel confident about digging up here, not worrying about mercury. Oh, what is this? We've got a cool salt slush geyser sitting up there. Curious if we're going to have any more spigot seals. One thing I'm surprised at and a little bit worried, there's no pips. Not a single pip. I don't know. No, there's no way there's going to be one over here. The only question is, maybe there is one over here. In fact, you know what? Let's start the process of digging out a path to that direction to see if there is or not. Alright, so we are back again. Cycle 121, and I found a single pip. Oh good, very happy about that actually. So yeah, we'll have a spot available there. I have built a gas pump down here. Not running it right now, but having that ready to go because carbon dioxide is definitely going to accumulate there. Been doing a number of research projects. Let's have a look at some of the skills that we've gotten. Athletics, we've got a base of 10. Science, a base of 6. A nice thing about science is that actually improves skill leveling. So doing some research early on, very useful. Now we're in the process going up here. Wouldn't mind, this is going to be a saltwater geyser, I'm pretty sure. Let's go in there at some point to do a little bit of exploration. preparing for another mission of me being away again, but before I do, I want to make sure meat at high priority is stored down here. Doing just a couple random research projects and doing some digging. We're getting a little bit short in dirt, so digging out a little bit of dirt. I don't have a purpose for power over here, but I figured I'd throw it in while we're away. Do some exploration over in this direction. Oh, there is our saltwater geyser. We'll get us some exploration in this direction. Worried about snow falling down, so I might just stop at this point over there. And I guess that is about it. Oh, power outage. Oh, never mind. That is just because a little bit of manual generator work needs to be done. All right. Good luck, dupe. Back to check on our one duplicant here. Just gave them a little bit more research projects and a little bit more ladder and fire pole going up and exploration. Essentially, slowly explore everything there is to see in this little asteroid over here. Dug out a little bit further. I was hoping maybe we get a second bit, but we didn't. But I can live with that fact. Things are going pretty slow, but I don't really have to do much other than just give them a few commands every now and then and let the game play. I'll be back. Who knows how many cycles from now. Thinking about leaving my game going overnight. So before I do that, let's do a little bit preparation for leaving this duplicant alone for much longer than I've done before. Carving out this little spot here for an oxygen production area. Up until this point, I really have not been worrying a whole lot about oxygen. I had a little bit of allergy from the printing pod. And I guess I'm naturally taking some oxygen from slime, but that's been about it. But if I'm going to be leaving this guy alone much longer, I think I need to at least put in some sort of oxygen system in place before I go to bed. For this oxygen system, we're going to have an electrolyzer, a pump that's primarily going to be picking up hydrogen, one that's going to be picking up oxygen, and a water drop-off station, and a little control to decide if I'm going to allow this guy to supply some water in this little room, and we'll need a bottle emptier for that right there. Here's the oxygen system I'm going to leave this duplicant with. We've got a single electrolyzer that is going to have oxygen filtered with this system over here. Then we've got hydrogen filtration happening over here. And the hydrogen generator is only going to operate if we are either in need of power with a smart battery or we've got too much hydrogen. We'll just burn it away. After all this is together, I still need to put in the water line and actually take the oxygen line to various spots around the base so that there'll be lots of oxygen for many more cycles to come while I'm not here. Starting to build this system out over here. I'm putting in a manual generator and a transformer. This transformer is going to feed the rest of the base. We've got a heavy watt wire inside this little zone. This does mean that I'm going to retire both this manual generator and jumbo battery that's down on the smaller circuit over there. In addition to worrying about some oxygen, I'm also worried about this polluted water filling up too much, so we're just going to double the size. Right now it is 119 kilograms on each of these tiles. Pretty sure this will be big enough for the time that I'm gone. Switched over the circuitry, disable this manual generator, that jumbo battery. So now we're charging this smart battery. We need to kick off this whole system, so we're going to be dumping some water. High priority, enable auto bottle. And we want to be able to control this door access here. We put, say, if we've got 10% or less, make sure this door is open. This door here is just going to be an escape door. You don't want this dupe to be trapped in there while we're waiting for water to go out. So there is the electrolyzer producing the first little bit of oxygen. and hydrogen. Let's see, before I turn this whole system on, how about we build a door right there? Another thing I'm worried about while I'm away is this wood heater actually getting things too hot. So we're going to take the temperature, and if it does get a little too warm, we're going to open up this door so that this wood heater doesn't run too much. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be happening or not, but figure better be safe than sorry. Okay, we've got our wood heater with a temperature gauge right there. I'm going to say if it's above 26, open the door. And I thought of another thing. What if carbon dioxide becomes too much? Right, that could happen too. So we're putting in a carbon skimmer. We're going to create this loop where it feeds that into a water sieve. And a little bit of excess water stored here in a liquid reservoir. We're going to pump in just a little bit of initial water just to kick that off. And maybe that will be enough, but I will have a look, see if there's a couple more things I might want to do before I retire for the night. We've got a little bit of water going into this system. It's not making its way in here. Is that just because I need to cut that? Oh no, that's because this water sieve doesn't have power yet. Okay, let's allow time for that little wire to be made. Now we've got a carbon skimmer going. Now this will keep running as long as we've got sand for this water sieve, so I'm just going to dig out a little bit of sand. We've got some right there. We've got a bunch over here, so if we can just pop into that, pretty sure we're going to be fine. Just cut that out as well. And I'm going to have a look around to see if there's any final thing I want to do before I take off. But we just cut that open just a little bit. Oh, definitely one thing I've forgotten. I'm not actually doing anything with oxygen. That's kind of essential. Let's make sure that we've got a path down here so that we can provide some oxygen. Let's see, I'll do a couple places. We'll right next to the barracks, right over there. Continue a path, and we'll have a little bit go down to the eating area in our great hall. How about we go up like this and just vent a little bit of oxygen up there. Of course, this isn't going to work unless we actually connect this. And I see I didn't connect this over here. Okay, there's a couple things to check before I go to bed. This may not work. I don't know what the chances are, but you know what? I'm going to make a save before I do this. In fact, I'll do that right now before I forget, because I might very well need to come back to this point. Who knows? Well, I'm either being naive, or perhaps I'm ready to leave this tube all night long. Just focusing priority on this little piece of the piping there, so that we guarantee we've got some oxygen we can breathe as we go. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on this and just to do a bunch of arbitrary research while I'm away. More for upping our skill on skill leveling, but getting some random research done early might be useful. At some point, I know I'm going to want some different type of gas pipes that go up and down here, so since I'm away, why not do that? And finally, speaking of skill, where did my dupe go? Let's just have a quick look at where things stand skill-wise before I take off. So for construction, we've got a natural 5. Digging, it's probably not going to be a lot of digging while I'm away. There's a little bit going on there. Machinery, there is probably going to be a lot of manual generator running. So right now, +9. That's definitely going to be higher. Athletics, +12. I'm hoping that's going to be much higher. Science, +7. That should definitely be higher as well. Strength, we've gotten +2 this whole time. That's all we've been able to get. But that is all right. We're slowly getting a little bit of strength from outhouses and these little composts. I'm hoping I have everything in place to be able to survive. If I do, I'm going to have a dupe that has a lot more skills. And I'll see you on the other side. I'll let you know what happens either way. Alright, till then. Well, good morning, everyone. Or good evening, I should say, to the dupe. It's cycle 252. What has happened? I actually had a game crash, so I don't know how long this was running, but obviously we've got quite a few cycles. Let's look at our skills. Since I've been away, haven't been doing a lot of digging and construction because I haven't been around to give commands, so no big change there. But machinery, yeah, plus 20. So we maxed out on machinery. I've caught the dupe on this manual generator. That's low priority, so he's only going to go there. Athletics, also plus 20, so very quick dupe. Plus 7 to science, and let's have a look. Was there any... Oh, the other interesting one was strength, which is a... plus 3. So very slow to train that, mostly because there is only a few activities that need to be done around that. Okay, I'm a little bit confused as to why this dude wasn't doing a supercomputer, because if we look at research, there is a number of things. Now, we don't have the applied science research, but I'm wondering if not having that building, they don't start this. I would have expected at least the basic research and advanced research to have been started. So that's something I'm going to investigate. But let's look at the life-sustaining side of things. Well, first of all, our calories are only growing. We're over 300,000 in that. Oxygen, plenty of that in the air. I even see a little bit of hydrogen that we captured. So this whole setup seems to be working with the automation. I was a little bit worried about all of this, to be honest. But I think I threw everything before I went to bed well enough together, such that we're throwing out oxygen in the central area of the base. Let's temperature-wise. I was concerned about this, but it looks like I shouldn't have been, because only having one wood heater in this particular world is not going to be an issue. But let's look at temperature. As we slide the relative bar around, we can see, yeah, all the heat has come from this guy here. So that is definitely going to be... Oh, let's bring in Shiny Nymph. Though these little critters... If we had enough of them, might cause an issue in performance. So that actually is something I haven't dealt with, even though I've been relatively or experimenting with that relatively recently, if I can talk. But yeah, I guess with one duplicant and only one little asteroid, I haven't really run into performance issues. But that is something I want to investigate a little bit more. Okay, another issue. I underestimated how much mercury capture I needed. I see a little bit of mercury down here. And I see a little bit of mercury down here. On this setup, though, actually, if we want to do some strength training, I can't really do that per se as easily as I thought. But anyway, if we want to do some strength, or sorry, just looking at this system here is still running. So that's good. So carbon dioxide has not been an issue while I've been away. I overestimated how much polluted water that would be being created over this period of time. And, okay, so back over here. What is the story? Do I just need to build? Even if I don't plan on using it. Don't tell me that was... Okay, I was going to say, don't tell me I made that out of mercury. I'm going to try building this and see if this gets the duplicant to work on research. Alright, with the materials study terminal built, nothing has happened. Couple things that could be, maybe I need to at least plug it in. But also I don't have applied research skill. Alright, this is going to make me a little nervous, but that means I have to bump up to here. Oh, we should be good. If I do that, will this duplicant get to research, at least for the basic and advanced portion, which I thought they were going to know. Okay. How about if we threw in just a wire, whether it's plugged in or not? Would that change anything? Let's see. Let's interrupt this dupe. Alright, picked up a little bit of wood. Yeah, throw that in your wood heater. Get a little cinnabar. Throw that in the wire. No! Wait, what's going on? I was quite certain. Okay, let's just clear one of these. This should also have been... Oh, no, it shouldn't have. Never mind. Okay. That... Maybe it's the fact that multiple things are... I've never actually done this. We're stuck on this. I think what's actually happening, I'm pretty sure, is valve miniaturization can't be completed. So it's not moving on to the basic research of renewable energy, for instance. Okay. Fair enough. So let's just test that theory then. Let's say if I were to unselect this, not that I need it, I'm just doing a test. Then I were to interrupt. Ah, okay. Alright, well, time for my overall thoughts on what I've learned from leaving my game. First of all, I quite like it. Second of all, I think this is going to be a big thing in my playthroughs. Leaving dupes alone for large periods of time, finding out what is going to be sustainable on an asteroid in terms of oxygen, in terms of food and temperature and all that, and leave them alone for maybe 100 cycles at some point. Let them do some skill leveling, but also let them warm various things up. Notice that we've got critters that have evolved down here. This is a good thing in a sense, but I did have one bad thing I've noticed, unfortunately. All the critters here were replaced, and that's good for my meat production. I asked my dupe to actually store at high priority meat over here, but you notice that I missed my opportunity to get some reed fiber. And I actually was hoping to have that for carpeting tile to manage a little bit of a stress issue. So that's something to think about in this particular asteroid. Another thing I would have done differently, I would have, well, if I had time, I would have put the materials study terminal somewheres with an ability to charge. Though, that might be a bit of an issue with power production. I might have needed to experiment around that because a Red Bull generator would have had a good amount of power, but it's nice to know if I'm going to leave my dupes and expect a large set of research to be done, a material study terminal would be very useful. Alright, I'm actually not sure where to go from here, but, oh yeah, one other major thing that I've learned is you don't need a lot of dupes. I managed to do a good amount of stuff with just one duplicant. Probably not going to be my norm to have one duplicant. I don't know if I'm going to continue experimenting with this one duplicant play, or I'm going to do a play with a much smaller number of dupes than I normally do, maybe around the 5 to 8 number, but with times where I trust them on their own, which is something I don't normally do. Anyway, that is my video for today. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I will see you for another video of either this or similar playthrough or one of my experimental videos of Oxygen Not Included. Till next time.